Hello, Simone. It's a pleasure to have you here in Cuartel del Metal. How are you coping with this pandemic, and how are you spending your time at home now?
I guess it's up and down. It's been now almost a year that we've been at home,
Hmm.
and in between touring, I would work from home as well. So that's what I'm still doing. Like all the business related stuff still continues. So I'm still busy, but yeah, just not traveling at the moment. And yeah, but we're all healthy, and we still have a job.
Yeah,
Even though we're not touring at the moment, we're doing okay. Yeah.
yeah. There's many artists that can't think of anything else but playing, and there are some others that don't mind waiting a bit longer. And which one of these two are you?
I'm in between. I love to tour. I also like to be at home, but I don't like to tour too much. So
Okay,
after or before we had the pandemic, we had a sabbatical, so we
that's right.
didn't play much before. And then, writing and recording the new album, planning a tour, being ready to go on the road again, and then yeah, then everything is shut down. That's a little bit yeah, it's a shame, but it is what it is.
I imagine that the delay, that because the album had to be postponed, was with the hope of promoting it on tour if the pandemic kind of ended by this time, right?
Yeah, originally we were supposed to release the album in September last year and the tour in October, and then we moved the tour to March. So we rescheduled it a second time now to January 2002, and hopefully that will be everything will be back to touring again.
Yes. Well, you got together for a week to record this album, and it comes to my understanding that when you were all together, there you could record everything except yours and Mark's vocals. Is that correct?
Well, we were together for a writing session planned in November 2019, and the recording of the album started in January 2020. We started with the drums, and by the time we wanted to record the vocals, we had the first lockdown.
Okay.
So the vocals from Mark, who lives in Sicily, and I live in Germany, and our studio is in the Netherlands. Mark had to record his vocals at home, and I searched for a studio nearby. But the choir and the
Mm-hmm.
orchestra, luckily, everything was recorded, because that would have been a bigger
Yes.
hassle to get all those people together during a pandemic.
So how did you live this process of being together and writing together? Did you complement each other in the writing sessions, or perhaps suggesting or changing some song parts?
Yeah, it's a very effective way to write music, to be together in the same place. And since we live in different countries, Mark lives in Sicily, I'm in Germany, Isaac in Belgium,
Yeah.
and the rest in the Netherlands, it's difficult for us to get together in between touring. So this was now the first time since many years that we got together to have a writing session, all of us together in the same room. Yeah, it's a world difference compared to if you would be writing in your own studio at home, like sending each other the songs through the internet and waiting for the other person to start writing, start working on the songs. And like this, we could like really quickly change the songs, experiment a little bit, and yeah, it was very, very productive, very effective, and just yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Well, musically speaking, I think Omega couldn't have introduced itself better because the song Abyss of Time is fantastic. There's this pattern of like question and answers between you and Mark, but the song itself is super changing. So, how do you write and choose the perfect single, or do you simply pick the best among the songs you write? How's that like?
Well, we all make a list of songs, like also for the track listing of the album, the order of the songs we want to put them in. And for the singles, yeah, everybody makes a list of their favorite songs. Also, our producer Joost gets gets to decide as well. And yeah, it's always kind of obvious in the beginning or at the end of the writing session which songs are going to be like single potential. But Epica is not a band that writes 3-minute singles, maybe with
Yeah.
the exception of one song, Victims of Contingency. That's kind of
Great song though.
song. It's a great live song as well. It's fun to play.
Sure. I heard you say that this album, at least for you, feels a little bit more balanced than the Holographic Principle, which was a super heavy record. What made the call of calming things a bit, perhaps, and going for a more eclectic result, so to speak?
Well, the Holographic Principle was a very energetic album, and it was very full, and it was very like high energy all the time. And for me, it was written in a very hectical stage, like time for Epica. I mean, we were touring, promoting the Quantum Enigma, and at the same time we were writing the Holographic Principle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, personally, it's not one of my favorite Epica albums because it's linked to my to that time where I was I was quite exhausted from being a new mom and then touring.
True.
Epica, I've always been touring so much. And with the Holographic Principle, for my feeling, the music and everything, it was just too full. It was too much going on. And after that, we took a little break when we were finished touring, and then we did some shows promoting Design Your Universe, the 10-year. Up till today, remains one of my favorite albums. Also, the Quantum Enigma and Omega, I would say, are my personal favorite Epica albums. And after playing the songs from Design Universe, I felt like I wanted to go back a little bit to that sound and to that openness. And of course, the writing process changed a lot of the songs. We started working on vocal lines much earlier, and the Holographic Principle, that was like at the end phase of the writing, which meant not a lot of flexibility to work on the vocals. And now we adapted the songs to my vocals here and there, so I would have more options to write vocal lines, because the music was still kind of open and we could change things. And the mixing was done by Joost, our producer, and he managed to still, even though there's so much going on in the music, to still have create some kind of transparency that you can still hear everything without being bombarded with a wall of sound. And I just find the album overall sounds more organic.
Yes.
And then the Holographic Principle was maybe a little bit
in your face.
Too much.
Like that.
Yeah, for me, for my personal preference, yes.
Well, they are all great. It's hard to choose, but all the albums you mentioned are top. Well, you truly honor your band name with epic songs quite frequently, but the song Code of Life really got to me. Your vocals in that song are just beyond amazing, and the kind of Middle Eastern intro that it has, it's all phenomenal. So can you tell me a bit about the background of this song?
Yeah, the music's written by Koen, and it's also one of my favorites from the album.
All right,
when I heard it, when it was still like a demo song, I immediately knew, okay, I feel this song, I can, how do you say, resonate with the music, and I just, I felt a connection to the song. And the music is written by Koen. Koen is our keyboard player.
Sure, yeah.
But he's also responsible for the choir parts since the beginning of Epica. And he's written also quite some Epica songs. One of my favorite songs that he's written are Storm to Sorrow and also now Code of Life. I myself love those kind of oriental influences. We've had that in the beginning of the Epica, and the atmospherical singing that I'm doing together with Zahir from Myrath is one of my favorite things to do. It's very emotional. It's very, it kind of draws you into the music, and it's one of my favorite songs. My son actually loves that one too. Yeah, when we listen to the new album, he always wants me to play that song. He says it sounds like a video game.
Well, it's definitely a great song, and I'm sure it will be a great live song too. Speaking of live songs, I've read that the intention of these album songs are to be played live. No, I don't know if all, but mostly. So keeping that in mind, what led you to the creation of the final part of Kingdom of Heaven, the antediluvian universe?
I have one very vivid memory when we were promoting the Design Universe Gold Edition. We were in Russia in the backstage, and he was working on the Kingdom of Heaven song, also with Isaac in the backstage. And yeah, I know that creating those songs, those really long songs, is a challenge. I mean, it's a big puzzle, but at the same time, it's it's a really great achievement when a song is finished. But this is the end of the trilogy, where science and spirituality have to come together to find the true meaning of life. And this is the end part of the Kingdom of Heaven.
I read that this was a song, the first part in Design Your Universe was written because after the passing of his grandmother. So, but how do you feel about the songs? How did they evolve in you?
Well, the first one, we were writing the song, and at the same time his grandmother passed. And then he dedicated the song to his grandmother. And she played a big part in the history of Epica. We were rehearsing in her house in the beginning of Epica, in the basement. And she was a very sweet woman. I loved her very much. And that's the first Kingdom of Heaven, which is a song that we still play up till, when we were still allowed to play. Of course, when we were promoting Design Universe, it was standard that we would play that too. But before that, we also played the song live. And that's quite a task to play such a long live song.
Yes, I imagine.
Live. But it's a great live song. I love it. I've listened to it today as well. I felt the need to listen to some Epica. And I listened to the first Kingdom of Heaven and also the third one. The second one is the one I guess I listened to the least. That one was on the Quantum Enigma. But the third and final Kingdom of Heaven, to me, sounds like a movie soundtrack. Yeah, it really invites you. It really takes you on this journey when you listen to it. And I find it a very emotional song. And writing vocal lines was quite easy for me, like the chorus and the verses. It was like a musical labyrinth. It goes in all directions, and you don't know what to expect. I think it's a great song, and even though it's so long, it doesn't feel like that because it has so many different things going on and stays interesting. And that is always the biggest challenge, I guess, when you're writing those long songs, to keep them interesting. And I think we succeeded with that.
I agree. And what a cool grandma that she allowed you to play metal in the house, and super cool that. Well, those songs are a trilogy. Like Omega also closes this trilogy of metaphysical albums. I know that the main number, or one of the most important in this album, is the 8. But what's the deal also with number 3 for you?
Yeah, 3 is like the, how do you say, something like divine. The number 3. It is not like the Holy Trinity. Yeah, but I know Mark has a strong connection to it. It's always been his favorite number. For me, it's 2, but his favorite number is 3.
Well, the other song I wanted to talk about that was the latest single is Rivers, which I assume is an important song for you. I'll tell you some of my insights, but of course I want you to complete. Firstly, I read some comments that you should play The Little Mermaid in next Disney live action with this video. Second, it was an amazing choice for a single after Abyss of Time and Freedom. And third, I think that, Epica does amazing ballads. So what do you think about, or what do you feel about songs like this?
I love ballads to sing, to write, and also, of course, to perform live. I think ballads are a great way for me to shine, show my vocal capacity without having the feeling that I have to compete with the rest of the band. It's just a lot of fun. I get to pour my heart and soul into it, and Yeah, the only thing is, I would be up for playing the mermaid, but I am a little bit afraid of water, and I'm not the best swimmer.
Okay.
So I think I would probably drown if I had to do that.
Yeah, so Disney should recast that. Don't consider Simone for Little Mermaid.
Maybe if the mermaid, when she has legs, I can play that part.
Yeah, in land. Sure.
Yes, on the land.
So, with this album, Omega, talking to colleagues or people in the music world, Epica is a band that is sometimes addressed as one with, like, I don't know if flawless, but almost perfect discography. And you keep getting better with every album. So, I wanted to ask you, is there an album in your catalog from the first part or a certain point of your career where you felt that the band wasn't exploring its full potential?
Of course, I love all the albums, but one album where I feel maybe not a very strong connection with would be Requiem for the Indifferent, but that's because there are just some negative things attached to it. I mean, we had this awful experience when the album was finished and we were listening to it. We were about to rehearse the album for the CD presentation, and then we found out that there were no vocals on one of the songs. It was just the choir, and one of the persons we worked with in the studio had committed suicide.
Wow.
And, that was like, it's you still connect a lot of memories to that album. I mean, it's like the creation of the album, and that always has a lasting impression, and that's maybe why I don't like it so much. Or I mean, I anyway don't listen to Epica every day. But if I have to say albums I'm most proud of, I always say Design Universe and the Quantum Enigma, and now also Omega.
Also this. And how do you remember the Phantom Agony all these years later?
I don't listen to it at all. If I have to practice the song, I listen to the Classical Conspiracy, where I've improved my singing a little bit. I mean, listening to the first album is a little bit painful for me.
No, you sing good. You're good in that.
It's a cult. It's a cult album, and I know it's a favorite of many fans. And the song we played the most is "Cry for the Moon."
Yes.
So that's just, all bands start to get like a love-hate relationship with some of their most popular songs because they just played it too often.
Simone, for the final part of this interview, I'd like to speak a bit about your relationship with Latin America, where you are extremely loved. So, what was your favorite tour in this part of the world?
Oh, that is difficult to choose. I mean, the culture, it's very different to Dutch and German. It's very warm, it's very open, very passionate, very energetic and loud. And we know that when we go there that we have some of the best shows because, you get spoiled. The audience is so great. They sing along to the music. You feel really loved and welcome. And I have fond memories of so many shows. I mean, in Argentina we played, is it called Teatro de Flores?
Yes.
Yes, we played there so often. Last couple of times we played there, it always gets so hot, and the thing is, funny memory, the stage is going downhill. So when I'm in the front and I'm wearing heels and I try to bang my head, I often lose my balance because I'm already wearing heels and then the front of the stage is going down. So it's a little bit as if you're, I don't know, as if you're on a ship. Your brain sometimes gets a little bit confused. But yeah, I love to tour everywhere. I love to eat empanadas.
Yeah.
Vegetarian ones without meat, but yeah, I think Argentina is a beautiful country, and yeah, I hope we can come back again soon because we all miss touring. We all miss our fans, and we have now the new album that needs to be played live.
Yes, it needs to. I know that all these songs will be in media classics when the fans hear to them all. But what's that song that you think will be the hit, the one that will never be left out in live shows?
Of course, we already released Rivers, our ballad, but a song that I think might be really a great live song could be the Skeleton Key.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Code of Life is one of my favorites. I think Freedom will be a great live song as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mostly the case that, you know, the singles that we've released are also the songs we're going to play live. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think Skeleton Key is a good candidate as well.
Great. Well, Simone, thank you very much for your time. Everyone's invited to listen to Omega next Friday. So any last words for your fans here in Latin America?
Yeah, I love everybody. I wish everybody stays safe and healthy. Thank you everybody for the support, and hope to see you very soon, and hope that you're gonna love Omega as much as we do.